Hi Bartosz.
Hi Christoph.
Welcome to the Power2Max Factory.
Nice to meet you. Let's start the Power2Max Factory Tour.
Come on in.
We are here to show you the Power2Max tour, factory tour. I think you will be able to see how the power meter is made and to have the answer for all the curiosity that are close to the power meter subject. But we have also something for you, a giveaway. 2 pairs of Power2Max socks, professional cycling socks, for the same story as usual. So like, subscribe and comment. Comment related of course to this video, and I will click 2 hearts by your comments, and after 1 week of showing the video, and then you will receive a pair of Power2Max socks. Here we have the CCC. You know what's the interesting thing today? You know with whom I spoke on the route to you?
No.
With the CCC cyclist,
Oh.
Tomasz kiedyś.
Oh wow, great.
Yeah, so we have spoken about the power meters. What are the issues? He said that he needs consistency. This is the most, not the numbers, the consistency, and this is the first and basic thing that he accepts as a trainer, because he was a Polish national team under 23 trainer. Okay, so giveaway for you. Comment, like and subscribe, and 2 of you will receive a post from me with Power2Max socks. They look like this. It's the beginning of the trip in Power2Max in Germany, and we are at the first step and at the last step of the trip of each power meter. Through these doors come each of these parts from which will you assemble a ready-made power meter.
Correct. And of course, through this door, everything leaves again. So we ship to all over Europe and to our partners worldwide. Here you can see a small delivery leaving our factory later today. But yeah, in the beginning, everything comes in through here, and our suppliers are from Germany mostly. And yeah.
And that's it. Here we start our journey.
That's where we start our journey, and then we go there.
Okay, let's go. This is the second stage of the power meter building. You are sorting here your parts to each of the departments.
Yes, correct. We have, for example, chainring bolts right here. They come in through this door, and then they go to our facilities where we pack everything, and the parts from suppliers which are needed to build a power meter are going to our big storage in the back of the building.
In the back of the building. At this stage, it is not automatical yet.
No.
It's a manual sorting.
Yes, it's a manual sorting, but you know, we register everything, so we count everything to know how many we have. So yeah, it's half automatic, I would say.
Half automatic. So after this place, when it will arrive at the concrete stages of the production, then you will start the actual production. But prior to this, I think will be some kind of check.
Yes,
quality checks.
Of course, we check everything we give out to a customer is checked by us. So some things are easy to look at and you know it's alright. But for the high precision parts we need, they are checked, so we can assure that there's a high quality.
Okay, so let's go in the third stage.
Yes.
Okay, so here we are in a kind of a storage, but it's already sorted and ready to further steps.
Yes, we have here all the parts we need to give the customer a perfectly working power meter. Of course, it's the finished products in our boxes, but also if a customer needs a crankset, you will be able to find it here. So yeah, everything is right here in this storage.
Campagnolo.
Yeah, those are Campagnolo cranksets, and we have everything here from rotor. We have bottom brackets, chainring bolts, and everything is here to have a working power meter.
Do you cover all the bottom bracket standard? I mean, there are 3 main suppliers: Shimano, Campagnolo, and SRAM. Do you cover all of it?
We have solutions for Shimano cranksets. You will have to replace your Shimano crankset, your Shimano Road crankset. And we have solutions for Campagnolo. With SRAM, it's a bit different between road and mountain bike. We have solutions for SRAM mountain bike. You only have to replace the spider or your direct mount your direct mount chainring with a power meter. But for road SRAM, it's a bit complicated because the latest version of SRAM is protected by a patent, and we are not allowed to build a power meter for that.
Okay. Common question is from my colleagues, from the people that I speak with, why can't we use basically the Shimano crankset as a base for your power meter? I know the answer, but I want to hear it from you.
It's a very common answer because, you know, most people haven't taken a proper look at the power on the crank arm of the crank arm. A Shimano crankset comes in basically 3 pieces. It's a left crank arm, a right crank arm, and the chain rings.
Yeah.
But we need one piece more. We need to separate the spider, so the connection between crank arm and chain rings, from the crank arm. And that cannot be done with a Shimano crankset. So we have to take a new crankset with a replaceable spider and put our power meter on there. That's the main reason.
Yeah. And when somebody is used to the quality of shifts on the crank from Shimano, he can take some of your solution, the 4S.
Yes, correct.
Or and then to attach the chain rings from Shimano to the other brand.
Correct. For example, we have solutions for Rotor or Easton cranksets with this BCD, the bolt circle diameter for Shimano
110.
Genau, it's 110 4S. That's what we call it. And this is you can use your Shimano chain rings, and it doesn't matter if you have 11 speed or 12 speed chain rings. It works with everything.
Yeah, that's clear. Thank you. Okay, let's go. Behind us, we have some kind of device that looks very complex. What is it?
It's basically a big storage. It's a big carousel. And yeah, if you need a part, you can get it from here.
Enter here a code of the part,
or
it appears here.
Or you can scan it from this ready-made, so you don't have to search for it. Wow. And then you get the correct part. And you will even have a red light to show you which one you were looking for.
A laser light. It's really comfortable for the end user.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we have, as you see, a laser light, or
it's just an LED.
It's just the LED. Yes, just the LED, because I haven't seen the array here. But here you have the light. It goes about this particular storage part place. So this one here exactly. Here you have the LED. Here you have the part, and there, as you see, you enter the code for the particular part that you are looking for. Simple and fast. We are now in the room that is full of devices used to clean the power meters, the part of the power meters prior to assembling them.
It looks a bit like a kitchen here, and we even have gloves for the oven, because we have an oven over there, not to bake bread, but to bake our power meters. And over there is a big sink, an ultrasonic sink where we can clean power meters. And but I think we just made some bread in the oven for our people, because they are all on breakfast break now.
Yeah, that's why they are not here.
Yeah.
And this is the heat protection.
This is heat protection just for the oven.
Okay. And here we are by the department that is making the laser etching on the ready-made power meters. As we see, here is the clear one, and here we have it finished. Are except of this what we see here at the first sight, some other things added for you, or make the work easier?
Yes, of course. There are some markings for production, so we know when we proceed with the production of the power meter where to put it, so it has the exact position it needs to be. And then there are some preparations for the strain gauges. The surface has to be prepared to have a really precise measurement, and that's what we do while laser etching.
And prior to making this process, you said that you test each and every detail on this particular piece. Did you check everyone?
Every single piece is checked, not just once, but twice, 3 times, 4 times, because we have a high precision product, and it needs to be precise before the production, during the production, and of course after the production is finished.
And there is where from the quality comes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long process to build a power meter, and it's a very complicated process to have a high precision power meter. That's why it needs a lot of hours of working.
And the last questions. This piece of aluminium, is it made in Germany also?
Yes, most of our supplies are from Germany. Our aluminium parts are made like 150 kilometers from here, and we love to have short supply chains. So our
in terms of this, what is happening now in the industry?
This is one thing, and we can communicate with them very quickly, and we can ask them to make changes, and we do not wait like 3 months to have a new product, but we can have like a new product within 4 weeks.
And that's the modern approach to production, to shorten the supply changes, to communicate better, and to make life easier.
Yes, it makes our life easier, and we're really happy that we have those short ways and that we can make changes within a few weeks.
Okay, let's go into further production.
Yeah.
We have to answer, it's the good stage, it's the good moment for this. We have to answer one basic question. How does the spider-based power meter works?
So we basically have strain gauges which measure the deflection of the power meter. So we measure the deflection between the crank arms and the chain rings. The total power of both legs that is transmitted into the chain rings.
It's the right place.
It's the right place to measure, in our opinion, because you only need one sensor to measure the total power of both legs. So you can eliminate one possible point of error if you have just one place to measure.
Okay. When you started your Power2Max here in Germany, you have to answer you a basic question. Where to put the power meter? You have different options as we see now on the market. You can choose the crank arm.
Yes.
You can choose spider. You can choose pedals.
Correct.
Basically. You can also in the past history, you can also choose the rear axle.
Yes,
but
and
it's not
there are
made
some
anymore.
more ideas
There
about
are some more ideas where to measure it, but these are the 3 basic ones.
Yes.
You have already chosen your way through measuring this through a spider. What was the reason for?
The reason, or one of the reasons I just told you. We can have one sensor to measure both legs, which is a very comfortable way to measure the total power. Then, of course, compared to a pedal, spider is not in danger of getting damaged. For example, if you're a crit racer or if you're a mountain biker, it might happen that you hit the road with a pedal, or that you hit the rock with a pedal, and then the pedal is damaged, and measuring the power in the pedal would be basically destroyed.
Yeah.
So, on the other hand, there are no moving parts on a spider. A spider doesn't have like a button bracket or so. There's nothing moving on the spider. You only screw it on directly onto the crank arm.
That's it.
And you screw the chain rings on, and that's it. So there are a lot of reasons for like reliability and for precision to choose the spider-based approach as we do.
Okay, but in your this is we have compared it with the pedals, but we have another popular solution, the crank arm.
Crank arm is really tough.
What's your opinion?
It's really tough to measure like a consistent power, because on a crank arm, when you get out of the saddle, you have not only the forward moving of the crank arm, but you also have the weight flexing the power the crank arm left and right, and additionally you will need 2 sensors to measure the total power of both legs, or left-right power, and that's one additional place of error.
Yes, and it's affected also by the cycle of pedaling. When you are sitting on your seat, it's stable, let's say so, but when you stand up and you want to attack, you also deflect the crank arm left
Yes.
and right, not
Yeah.
only forward,
Yeah.
but also left and right.
And that's the same reason.
And that's the challenge.
Yeah, that's challenging, and that's of course is a challenge on pedal-based power meters too. We only have the whole forward-moving force. We have only the rotational force of the spider, and that's it. We do not have to care about flexing anything.
I hope that this answer makes the thing a little bit more clear to the audience.
Yeah.
Show me your opinions in the comments. What do you think about what do you think about the place of measuring the power? Because I think it's substantial. It's essential also.
It definitely, it was the first idea we had. Of course, when we started, we had different ideas. And when we came up with the idea like 15 years ago to measure in the spider, we had thought of other ideas before, but we always came back to measuring in the spider. And for us, until today, that's the only viable solution and the only reliable and sustainable solution. Because, you know, there is basically nothing that can go wrong with that solution.
My life experience tells me that many times the first idea is the best idea.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check it. What is happening here?
Yes.
Truly saying, it looks like we are not at Power2Max, but we are at Lange & Söhne, watchmaker.
Yes, it's almost that. My colleague here, he's connecting the strain gauges where we measure the deflection to the PCB, to the electronics, where we do all the assessment and where we do the calculations. Because we do not only measure power, or to measure power we need to have the deflection of the strain gauges, the force measured, and we need the cadence. So then we can calculate power. And now he's connecting it, and this job, to learn that, takes 2 years. Because you really need a steady hand, you need a lot of precision, and it's really hard to do that.
And it is depending on the operator, how precise is he able to do this?
Yes, I would say it needs really qualified people, and because, you know, it's nothing you can learn within a day.
For sure. Important questions. What is the size of the deflections of the strain gauge? You have 4 strain gauges in your power meters. What is the size? What is the deflection when you measure it?
And you wouldn't be able to see it with an eye.
Wow.
So it's very tiny, and yeah, it's basically not visible to the human eye.
So it's a fraction of a millimeter.
Yeah, it's a fraction of a millimeter.
I think it's even not that big, that we cannot say here about millimeters. It's like maybe a nanometers.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. As far as we see it here, everything is kept extremely clean. The parts are clean prior to this process. They are extremely clean, and most of it, the place where it is all mounted, is protected by a special system that keeps it clean. It keeps it clean from the dust. This is the quality electronics manufacturing, so we need to have it done extremely clean. After this process, when it is already assembled, it needs, as the colleague has said here, 2 years of experience to have the manual ability to build it right. Then it is sealed, because you are using this outside.
Yes.
It's what kind of protection is this?
So we need to seal the electronics completely, so it doesn't get into touch with water or dirt. But even though if you have damaged the power meter, if you hit a rock or you had a crash and there's a small crack inside, it doesn't affect the precision of the power meter, because the electronics, the strain gauges, are sealed, and water won't touch the electronics.
And we live in northern part of the Europe, let's say so. The temperatures in winter falls to -10.
Yes.
To -5, let's say.
Yeah.
What is the temperature range of the Power2 parameters?
Actually,
Power2Max.
You can go outside at -20 degrees, or you can go outside at 50 degrees.
The temperature compensation will work.
Yes, our power meters are built very stable, so temperature doesn't affect them as much. And additionally, we have a correction factor that compensates for temperature differences. So when you start, for example, cycling in the valley and you go up a mountain, you will have like 10 degrees difference within like an hour. But that doesn't affect the power meter, because as soon as you stop pedaling for 2 seconds, there's an auto zero, so it's an automatic calibration made by the power meter
During the ride.
during the ride that resets the measurement, and you will have the exact power value.
Wow. So the method of measuring is truly saying thought as a complete process, which is robust for each and every situation that you meet on the road or outside of the road. Do you see that many of gravel cyclists are starting to use power meters, or they are not so enthusiastic?
I think gravel is mostly about experience outside, but there are some serious gravel racers. There are some people coming from the road or from mountain biking getting into gravel, and they want to see power also on the gravel bike. So yeah, gravel is growing and power measuring on gravel bikes is growing too.
And it's also related to UCI cycle of
course.
races.
Now we have UCI races, and I think we already had some success with our power meters on gravel bikes, but those are not really official right now.
Okay, so it's all starting
Yes.
as from now. Okay, let's go further on.
Yes.
Behind us is a dynamic testing
Yes.
device. As we have seen, it is working on very different kind of power, even 1000 watts, 400, 500. What is measured here?
So that's our dynamic test bench. All our NG power meters go onto this test bench to be tested to 1% accuracy. Every 10th NG Eco power meter is going here to be tested to 1% accuracy. No, to confirm their former test. And this is how we basically manage to have highly accurate power meters.
So if somebody gets a power meter for you, he knows that prior to the shipping it was tested here.
If he buys an NG power meter,
and when
yes,
NG
it was
Eco,
tested, and our NG Eco power meter is tested to 2% in the process of the manufacturing. We have a secret test bench for that we are not allowed to show.
Of course, it's an industry, so I understand it. Okay, let's go further on.
Yeah.
Now it's 500 watts, so it's getting even faster. We are here in a development department that is developing the power meters as well as the tools needed to build it.
Yes, of course.
Processes.
And of course the processes, because, you know, when we started building power meters, there was no manual on how to build a power meter. And we had to invent everything ourselves.
From the scratch.
From the scratch, from the power meter to the machines, to the tools that we need to build it. And of course we are always improving on that to have like faster processes to build a power meter, more reliable processes to build a power meter, and of course in the end to make it cheaper to build a power meter, or to stay at the same price level in the current situation.
Okay, because it's also important.
It's very important, otherwise you wouldn't be able to build a high precision measurement if you wouldn't have the tools or the precision that's
if you wouldn't have the process to build it.
Yes, correct.
Yes, because you cannot copy this from someone else, because there wasn't anyone to copy this from.
No.
And you are not also interested into copying things.
No, I mean, we have our own philosophy, not only concerning our power meters, but also how we build power meters. And we are building it on an almost industrial scale. And of course, there's not a lot of manpower available that's able to do this precise work. That's why we have to invent processes that make it easier to build.
Exactly. Okay, this is very, very interesting. Let's go on. Power meter is a complicated device, we may say so.
Yes.
It can raise some kind of compatibility issues, some questions. How does it work together with other units, with head unit, with the app? What is your approach to this?
I think power meters are not just only complicated, but they're an investment. They cost some money. So we have customer service that basically answers all the questions you have concerning a power meter within 24 hours. We sell directly online to our customers in most of Europe. That's why we want to be able to have the very good service and to be there for our customers. And that's why we have a dedicated colleague who just answers emails as fast as he can.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when somebody, for a concrete example, has a question whether my Power2Max's rotor crank will fit my bottom bracket shell, and with what kind of bottom brackets, are you able to answer these kind of questions?
Yes, of course. My colleague has like years of experience, and he knows basically almost every bike, almost every crankset, and he will have a solution.
Wow. So this is the reason why people are sometimes not feeling too sure about new products, because they have questions. Will my bike fit this? Is it okay for me? What kind of gear should I buy to put this all together? And this kind of questions are answered also here.
Every question is answered.
We have also something for you, a giveaway. 2 pairs of Power2Max socks, professional cycling socks, for the same story as usual. So like, subscribe and comment. Comment related of course to this video, and I will click 2 hearts by your comments, and after 1 week of showing the video, and then you will receive a pair of Power2Max socks.